Good afternoon. Welcome here to the Dover International Speedway Media Center. We've now been joined by Kyle Busch, driver of the number 18 Pedigree Toyota. We will open up for questions for Kyle. If you have one, please raise your name, state your name and affiliation. Who would like to kick us off?
All right, good talk. Let's go.
All right, who would like to kick us off? Thank you, Chris Knight.
Yeah, Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Kyle, sorry, this is a trick question, but I was just kind of curious about Rafael Lessard and if you were impressed with his speed yesterday in practice being the fastest truck here.
Yeah, I didn't get a real good sense of how practice went from any of my guys or anything like that. So overall, just saw that he was top of the sheets first practice, and then that's always kind of difficult to tell sometimes how that exactly happens. I think they made a mock run at the end of first practice, so I think that's what put him up there. But it's all about the lap tracker and consecutive laps and consistency and things like that. So he and I talked a little bit this week about coming here and being prepared for it. So it was nice to kind of help him out, get him up to speed a little bit. Nice to see that they had speed at least, and hopefully he can do a good job. I mean, it's the biggest track he's ever seen or been on, and fastest he's ever gone. So it'll be a big learning experience for him this weekend.
All right, Reed.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. In practice that you just finished, 23 cars went faster than the track record. Do you actually feel that increase in speed when you're going around there?
Yeah, there's no question you feel that you're going really fast. It's really fast. Probably, I don't know, it's probably too fast. The faster we tend to go in the middle of the corners doesn't always produce the best racing. So we'll see how that translates. It's going to be big numbers for qualifying, obviously, but we'll see how that translates to the race. I'm not overly excited about it. So, we'll just have to fight through it and see what happens.
All right, additional questions? Tyler and then Claire. Can we get a microphone to Tyler, please, up here?
There's one
okay.
way back in the back.
Go ahead. Go.
Zach Sterniolo, Poker Record. Kyle, judging by that first practice and how fast you guys were going, what are your expectations for qualifying? I know you said you're expecting huge numbers there, but especially with the single car format, does that change anything, how you approach it?
I missed the last part. What?
With single car qualifying, in effect, does that change your approach to it at all?
Well, I guess it's a good thing I had my media availability because I wouldn't be coming in here after qualifying, judging by how fast our car goes. So, obviously we've not where we want to be. We're a little bit slower than we want to be. It'd be nicer to be closer to the front. But speeds are just really, really fast, so we're not quite there.
All right, Tyler, go ahead.
Tyler Burnett, Motor Racing Network. Looking ahead to next week, how would you describe some of the challenges racing at the mile and a half at Kansas? And then my second question is, the following week, the Memorial Day weekend, what's it mean to you to race on Memorial Day weekend? And also, how do you feel about, obviously, the military and everything that happens at Charlotte that weekend?
Going to Kansas next week. It's a little farther ahead on my radar than I've been. But it's a night race, so it's cool to be able to go race Saturday night. And then we have Sunday off, obviously. But the challenge to Kansas, I guess, is just going to be what it takes with this new package and the faster speed. Well, you're not really faster at Kansas, I guess. You got the 550 package there. So, seeing what that's going to be. Is it going to be wide open? Is the draft going to be in effect? Where's the groove going to be? Typically, it's been momentum around the high side the last couple of times there because that's where the banking's the best or the highest. And so that's kind of what you look at first, I guess, going to Kansas next week. And then obviously we have the All-Star race in between, then having Memorial Day weekend. But Memorial Day weekend in Charlotte's a big weekend. It's huge for our sport and for NASCAR and for what the red, white, and blue means to all of us. And, obviously being able to help support and honor our military for Memorial Day weekend. It's a lot of fun to be able to do that. It's nice that the NASCAR initiative has grown over the years with NASCAR salutes and the military program of having a person's name on our cars, on our windshields, and we get to honor that family if they choose to come to the racetrack for that weekend. So the last couple of years is we've had our family there that has been of the fallen soldier on our windshield, and and we've been able to honor them. And fortunately, last year, finally, I was able to get that first win and be able to go to Victory Lane. They were there with us in Victory Lane, so it's cool to be able to do that. It's an unfortunate situation that only one guy gets to win, but there's an opportunity to celebrate 40 unique lives that paid the ultimate sacrifice.
All right, Tim, go ahead.
Sports. Kyle, one thing I wanted to ask you is exactly how much off-throttle time do you guys have? I know it's very narrow, so as a driver, you just came out of there. How much off-throttle time really is there?
Yeah, for the qualifying laps here, you weren't all the way out of the gas. You just kind of roll out to about, 20% throttle for probably 200 feet, and then you're starting to feed it back gas as quickly as you can, as much as you can, in order to be able to get the run off the corner and down the straightaway. So lots of on-throttle time. And again, just you're never all the way out of it.
All right, Claire, go ahead. Then Dan.
Claire B. Lang, SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. Two things. First of all, happy birthday. How was your birthday? Did you have a good one?
It was good, yeah. Thank you.
And second of all, you said the speed's probably too fast. What is too fast? Like, where would you draw the line at Dover? What is too fast?
You pretty much know as a driver what too fast is. If you have a problem here now with the speeds we're carrying through the corners, it's going to hurt. It's really going to hurt. So, I mean, the faster you go, the harder you're going to hit the wall. There's no question there is. So, I don't know. I mean, when the IndyCar guys around here, they were flying around here, and they don't come here anymore because it was too fast. It was dangerous for them, right? So eventually there comes a point where it can be too fast for a stock car as well. And whether that is or not, I guess that's for people other than myself to think. But I'd much rather, appreciate racing and being able to race at a more tolerable speed than what we're going right now.
Are we approaching the danger zone here?
No question.
All right, Dan.
Dan Gelson, Associated Press. Kyle, what's the significance to you becoming the first driver in almost 30 years to have top tens in the first 10 races?
It's good. It's cool. It's obviously what's kind of on our mind right now with being able to go in every week. Obviously, we want to win. That's what we strive to do each and every time we're on the racetrack. But we thought it'd come to an end last week at Talladega, and it was close. We were right on the verge, man. But we made it through another one. So we had the opportunity here this weekend to go to the Monster Mile and try to come out of here with another top 10 finish. But last week we had Talladega that was working against us, and no disrespect to my sponsor, Pedigree. They're fantastic people and fun to work with, but I don't think I've finished in a Pedigree race car the last 5 times I've driven one. So hopefully we can finish, and if we can, hopefully we can finish in the top 10. So that's what we're shooting for this weekend.
All right, Kyle, we appreciate your time today. We'll be rooting for that Pedigree car on Sunday, and best of luck this weekend. Chase, you kind of blend in with the backdrop a little bit. All right, we've been joined by our most recent winner, Chase Elliott, driver of the number 9 NAPA Brakes Chevrolet. We will now open for questions for Chase. If you have one, please raise your hand. Who'd like to kick us off? Okay, Tim, we'll start with you.
Tim Ketafama, WRSU Sports. Chase, 2 questions for you. First off, what's your reaction, feeling as a driver to single car qualifying?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. Probably I would say a good thing overall. It just simplifies a lot of stuff, which I think is good, and it's the way I learned to qualify and kind of got started. And I'm sure much like everybody else did, the group qualifying thing is fine, and I think it'll be fine at road courses. It probably makes more sense at those places anyway. But I think it's good, and you just don't think about it. When it's your turn, you go, and if you don't like it, get over it.
And then the second question is, Kyle was just in here talking about the fast speeds. He had mentioned that, in his opinion, the speeds are approaching like a danger zone as being too fast. Do you agree with that, or do you feel that you guys are still at a level that's safe as a driver?
I mean, get paid to go fast, so let's go fast, I guess. I mean, I don't. It's not fun hitting something real hard anytime you do, and certainly isn't going to feel good when you do it at these speeds. So, I mean, I don't know which Kyle was in here talking.
Kyle Busch.
Yeah, I mean, It definitely is physical for sure, and I think this is going to be a very, very physical race on Sunday, especially if the sun comes out and it's hot. But it's fast. Is it too fast? I mean, we're getting, like I said, this is our job, so we sign up for it, and I think it is what it is.
Thank you.
All right. Additional questions for Chase? Tyler?
Tyler Burnett, Motor Racing Network. Chase, looking ahead to next week, you obviously won at Kansas last year. What are some of the challenges of racing there, and why do you feel like that track suits your driving style?
Kansas has become a cool place. I think as it has aged, the outside lane has really prevailed there, and I think that'll continue to be that way. So I think it's going to be a top lane dominant racetrack as it continues to wear and age, and as time goes on, even more than it already is. So that makes it difficult. It's hard to make a lot happen in a hurry when everybody's riding the wall and up in those top grooves. So that's the challenge of it is trying to pass and move forward. It's a difficult thing to do when everybody's ripping the top.
All right. Additional questions? Lee
Spencer Racing Boys, does the change in the speed change how you attack the track or how you guys look at the track from a strategic standpoint?
I don't really think it changes the strategy of it or anything, but it's definitely fast for sure. And it's you're always going to kind of drive to that limit, whatever it is, till you're as uncomfortable as you can be, basically. So I don't think it changes the strategy, but it's definitely quick for sure.
And what was the best outcome, or what was the funnest thing that happened after your win last week?
The what now? I'm sorry.
What's the funnest thing that happened following your win last week? Something maybe out of the ordinary that occurred.
Yeah, just having my mom and my grandma at the racetrack on Sunday was to me the coolest part. Mom missed all the wins last year, and my grandmother doesn't hardly get to any races. She's she's in her 80s and likes to watch on TV, so just rare for her to be there. And that was a very special deal. And they're hard enough to win, much less when you have important people like that in your lives, to be there and enjoy it with you.
All right. Go ahead.
Zach Sterniolo with Pocono Record. Chevrolet looked super fast throughout this first practice. Does that give you any confidence heading into this Sunday's race?
I mean, you'd rather be fast and slow, I guess. So it definitely never hurts anything. I think it's still too early to tell. Qualifying practice is always a little different than race practice, and then certainly the race on Sunday. So, like I say all the time, you're still gonna have to beat the same crowd on Sunday, no matter what. So, the good drivers and teams are still going to be the guys to beat, no matter what they're driving. But I do think it was encouraging to see the Chevys, have some good pace, and like I said, rather be there than the opposition.
All right, we'll go back to Tyler, please.
Yeah, Chase. Kyle Busch was in here talking about how on Memorial Day weekend, NASCAR honors all the military and has a member on their car. Why is it important, do you feel, to honor the military, especially when it comes to NASCAR? I mean, it seems like they do it a lot.
Well, I don't know that us doing that is really even saying thanks enough. And I think a lot of times, there's certain situations where we don't see, but when you hear stories of men and women who are serving overseas or whatever, they have a chance to watch the races, and if that's providing entertainment for them in a way to kind of check out of what they have going on and get their current situation off their minds and enjoy a race or a football game or a baseball game or whatever it is, I think that's great. So I feel like that they've embraced us a lot and have shown a lot of support to us, even watching overseas. And I think for the very least we could do is show the appreciation we do. And at the end of the day, really what we do is not even enough when it comes down to it. So always look forward to the 600 for sure.
All right. Any final questions for Chase? Okay. We'll take one back there.
Noah Lewis, TSJ Sports. Chase, we see the cars are faster this weekend. Do you feel like that's going to change anything to the overall complexion of getting into some sort of long green flag run or anything like that?
I mean, we already kind of had that here, it seemed like, right? So I think track position is going to be huge. I think it's going to be very difficult to go up and get to a guy's bumper. So I just it already was, but I think it's just going to be magnified even more. And just track position, I think, is going to be massive. Having good pit stops, good restarts, being in the right lane on the restart is going to be great and could make or break your day, in my opinion. So we'll see.
All right. Any final questions for Chase? Chase, we appreciate you spending some time with us. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Not that you really care about the name card. All right. We are going to continue our media availabilities now with Martin Truex Jr., driver of the number 19 SiriusXM Toyota. If you have a question, raise your hand, and we'll start questions for Martin. Who'd like to go first? Tim, thank you for kicking us off.
Martin, Tim Kettlefam at WRC Sports. 2 quick questions for you. I asked the same thing to Chase. What's your thoughts on single car qualifying? Does that change your approach to it in any way now that you made the change from group qualifying?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a change of mindset. You know, it's kind of going back. It's been, I feel like, quite a while now since we've done this, and it's such a dramatic change in just the way you approach it mentally. You know, you get one shot at it now, so you work through practice and you try to do everything you can to make one. You only need to do one fast lap, not 3 like we used to 3 rounds. So it's definitely a lot different, and I think the pressure's higher. It's easier to screw up. You'll get one crack at it. So just trying to think back to years ago how we used to do it and try to kind of pull from that.
And then my second question is, obviously there's a lot less off-throttle time than there was the last time we were here in 2018. How much exactly is there off-throttle time? How much less, I guess, is the question I'm asking.
Well, considerable amount more throttle today than we've had here ever. I mean, it's I think bunch of cars beat the track record by quite a bit today. So I can't explain to you how fast it feels. I mean, it's pretty hairy out there. So it's pretty wild ride, a lot of fun, but you really got to attack. And we went faster every time we hit the racetrack without really doing a whole lot to our car. Just trying to figure out where the limit is, because it's something that we just haven't done here before like this. So typically I'm at my best when the track slows down and gets rubbered in. So this is kind of pretty extreme situation of a day for me trying to get ready to qualify.
All right. Go ahead.
John Harville, NM Motorsports Report. With the higher speeds, are you concerned that, Kyle Busch was in here a few minutes ago and he said that the higher speeds could lead to a harder crash. So do you feel like the speeds are dangerous, or do you feel like the racing might be affected, it might be harder to pass as you go through the corners with the higher downforce?
Well, there's no question that it's going to be harder to get close to someone as fast as we're going. I mean, there's no way around that. That's simple science. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Honestly, I mean, it's really fast. I mean, obviously you don't want to hit anything, but it's a race car, so there's always danger involved, I guess.
All right. Additional questions for Martin? All right. Go ahead. No, you're okay. Yeah, you're close enough. I think you're okay.
You got your first start here in the Busch Series back in 2001, and you found some success here. What does this track mean to you as they celebrate 50 years, and just kind of if you could put that in perspective?
Well, it's a great place. I mean, it's such a unique racetrack, and one of my favorites to come to for sure. It's called the Monster for a reason. It's mean, and it's fast, and it's big, and it's kind of crazy. So I really enjoy it. Been coming here a long time. Run the Busch North car here back in the day, and things like that. So in my family-owned car here in the Busch Series. So definitely a special place for me. Not far from where I grew up, and always look forward to coming back here and being on the East Coast.
All right, go ahead.
Rob Rose, Philly Inquirer. Your Eagles fandom well documented with the Super Bowl. Are you a Sixers fan too, following the other teams going on in the city?
I know they're doing well. I don't watch a whole lot of basketball, I'll be honest with you. Or really, I like baseball a lot, but I don't get to watch that much either. So stay pretty focused on racing this time of year, you know.
You didn't get a chance to check out the Eagles draft, see any of the guys they picked up?
No, I didn't even see any of it. so out of loop. I was on vacation that week, I think.
All right, additional questions? All right, Martin. We appreciate
Thanks,
you
guys.
spending
Yep.
some time with
Yeah,
us.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you. We've now been joined by Jimmie Johnson, driver of the number 48 Ally Chevrolet. And Jimmie, before we kick it off for questions, our friends here at Dover are celebrating their 50th anniversary this season. And being the winningest driver here at Dover, just talk a little bit about this track and what it's meant for your career.
Yeah, I mean, clearly I'm very biased at this racetrack. I think it's the best one out there. I think all drivers can appreciate just the challenge that comes with this track, the banking, the speed, the transitions from the straightaways to the corners. So I noticed on social media before we got here that drivers, crew chiefs, crew members, we're all talking about how much they love coming here. And it's just a very unique challenge and a totally different racetrack than anything else we race on.
All right, we'll open it up for questions. If you have one, please raise your hand. State your name and affiliation. We'll start right here in the middle.
Matt Corson with KickingTheTires.net. Jimmie, you said at Martinsville that a lot of changes and rules to the cars have impacted your advantage there. Can you talk about if that's done the same thing here? If so, how so?
Over the years, I feel like here we've probably stayed in the game more than other tracks. We won here a couple years ago. I feel like we were one of the best cars last fall, but had something weird break on the car before we took the track for the race. So I feel like here the vertical loading is all, and we've talked about this a little bit, I think, in the press, but our cars have always performed well at HMS with high vertical loading, and this track certainly has a lot of that. So Martinsville has, seems like it slipped away from us a little bit performance-wise, but Dover, we seem to come back here and repeat each time.
All right, Tim, go ahead.
Tim Kelfman with WRC Sports. Jimmie, I just had a question for you. Do you prefer single car qualifying, or were you more comfortable with group car qualifying as far as what you would have to bring to the table for a driver to get the best out of that lap?
Selfishly, I think my stats would show that single car qualifying, I've performed better in those moments. So that brings a little optimism to this new format. But whatever we need to do. I've been doing this long enough now. I've seen all types of formats and variations, and I really don't have an opinion either way. I just hope the fans enjoy it and it puts on a good show for television.
All right, Lee.
Lee Spencer, RacingBoys.com. We saw a great performance by the Chevys at Talladega. They're fast on the speed chart in first practice. What do you think it's going to look like for the bow tie brigade once we get to Kansas and we're looking at a completely different aero package, engine package combination?
Yeah, I think we're all trending in the right direction and getting better each and every week. But that, as you pointed out, that's just a totally different rules package for the Kansas race. Personally, I look at our success at Texas and think that the mile-and-a-half format and rules package, HMS has improved and is doing better. So optimistic, certainly very happy to be at a track that I love so much, and feel like we can hopefully string together a couple really strong weeks here.
All right, additional questions? Go ahead.
Zach Sturniolo, Poking Record. Jimmie, Kyle was in here earlier and voiced some concern over just how fast the cars are going around here. Do you have any concern about how fast the speeds we're seeing are? And what do you feel like that line is?
I'm not sure what his exact comments were, but from a safety standpoint, I don't have big concerns from a Sunday, in race opportunity to pass, the type of racing we'll see on Sunday. I am nervous about that. The faster we go, the harder it is to pass. The wider the racetrack needs to be, and the critical areas around this track are pretty narrow, and there's really one groove around the bottom in most years I've been here. So the tall spoiler, the higher speeds, I think that's going to make the cars very difficult to really pass the car in front of you. So from that standpoint, I think track position is important, and that's where my concerns are.
All right, additional questions for Jimmie? All right, we're going to let you go easy today. Thanks for joining us. Best of luck this weekend.